Benue State, the food basket of Nigeria, may gradually be losing its food basket in the wake of renewed attacks on some communities in the Middle Belt region of the country. The Benue State government vows to seek justice in honor of the 73 killed by herdsmen. This is even as the world watches keenly the strategy the Nigerian government would devise in fighting the herdsmen menace rather than the usual condemnation of attacks when they occur. Governor Samuel Otom insists on the full implementation of the open grazing prohibition law, which will force the herdsmen to ranch their animals or face the music of the law.
That there is no going back on the law that we signed. By the grace of God, it will be implemented, and as farmers, we should have legitimate right to our farms and do our farm work. This is a temporary setback, but these are the challenges that comes with initiating a process that will ensure peace for all. For us, we believe that this is the best way. If anyone has a better option other than what we have done, bring it on the table. So far, no one has been able to do this.
For this international human rights lawyer, Professor Agbo Madaki, it goes beyond insisting on the full implementation of the anti-open grazing bill. He vows to build a war crime case against the federal government if it fails to arrest perpetrators of the mass murder and bring them to justice.
The failure to have mitigated these damages, the failure to have stemmed it, the failure to have prevented it is a complete abandonment of the constitutional responsibility of the federal government. If you look specifically under Article 7 and 8, everything that has happened in Benue State squarely places it within the offense of genocide and crime against humanity. So if the federal government failed to do something about it, I can assure you that even me, as an international scholar specializing in international humanitarian law, can file complaint before the office of the prosecutor at the ICC under Article 15, urging him to exercise the power of proprio motu to cause an investigation, and then there can be prosecution. And I can assure you, under the Rome Statute, there's no immunity for anybody, whether you're a head of state or you're a governor.
As of 2016, records show that over 1,200 persons have been killed by herdsmen who have invaded about 14 local government areas out of the total of 23 that the state has. Benue State Emergency Agency says 40,000 people have been displaced by the attacks. Violent protest erupts in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, over alleged reprisal killings by some youth. The violence prompts this Emergency State Security Council, which arrives at immediate solutions, including banning the operation of motorcycle operators from 6 p.m.
I've heard about 10 people who were wounded in the process of this uprising. They're in the hospital, but I've not recorded any death yet. But we have decided to ban the operation of Okada riders from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Until normalcy returns. 3 of the killers were arrested 3 days ago by the army, and they've been handed over to the police with their machete, which they use in slaughtering people. And I think justice will be done. And I want to commend Mr. President for also sending relief materials to the over 60,000 people who are displaced. It will go a long way in supporting us. I think that if the tempo is maintained, peace will return to Benue State.
The Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Security, led by Senator Ahmed Lawan, arrives, offering the Senate support to end the killings in Benue.
Your Excellency, I take this opportunity to convey our condolence and commiserate to the people and government of Benue State. What happened is not acceptable, is condemnable, and therefore the Senate will partner with all the agencies that are mandated to provide security and other stakeholders to find a lasting solution to this kind of happening. As a nation, we cannot afford to watch as leaders when citizens are mowed down and killed or maimed. No citizen should suffer any harassment anywhere he or she chooses.
Especially the security situation in the country.
The National Assembly resumes its legislative proceedings for 2018, with the Benue attacks orchestrated by herdsmen as one of the strong matters to deliberate on.
You also in the resolution mandated that some of the discussions here we need to convey to Mr. President, to tell him what we have discussed today and the seriousness at which we have taken the issues. It is a wake-up call for him, it's a wake-up call for us, a wake-up call for this government. We must frontally address this issue.
The Upper House issues a 14-day ultimatum to the Inspector General of Police, IGP, Mr. Ibrahim Idris, to investigate and arrest the perpetrators of the attacks without delay.
The violence and mayhem in Benue is a manifestation of a larger national security crisis that, if not attended to, could result in detracting the unity and cohesion of the nation by destroying its rural economy and the means of the people's livelihood. It is very clear from our interaction that some faceless people are sponsoring and harboring the well-trained foreign mercenary elements and using them to unleash violence and criminality in Nigeria's rural space.
In the report that was presented before us, federal government was mentioned about 7 times, and we are all part of the federal government. The security of this country is under the control, the directive of the Commander-in-Chief. Why are you shying away from calling on the President to wake up and stand up and protect this country?
Welcome you back to the plenary of the House.
The conversation is not different in the House of Representatives.
The accentuation of violent crimes is a chronic symptom of defects in our security architecture, which we must fix. Therefore, call on Mr. President to apply maximum sanctions on public officers who are derelict in the performance of their constitutionally assigned responsibilities.
The matter is also considered as a motion which draws different emotions from lawmakers.
As long as a government, we cannot provide an enabling environment, you cannot wake up one fine morning, make a law, and ban open grazing when you have not provided an alternative. It's not going to be possible.
We are not saying we don't want you in Benue State. We are not saying don't come to Benue. We are saying come to Benue and take this land, pay for it. I have not seen a Yoruba man going to Kano to take land for cocoa free of charge. I have not seen. I have not seen a thief man going to Plateau or even Kwara to take land to farm his yams for free. These are businesses, for crying out loud.
Let's even talk about just the past administration. Where is the 100 billion naira that President Jonathan gave for the establishment of the grazing reserves to the governors? Have we seen any one reserve? Have we tested, anyone? Have we brought any of the governors to book?